and some gesso, a little bit of stucco, 2 Unity stamp sets, yeah, let's see, so this is the Prima flowers that we'll be using. And then our Art Anthology Morse Codes stencil. So dash and dots, dash and dots. A little bit of gel medium and adhesive gloss gel. Okay. The colors that we'll be working with are This Much Colors Challenge. I'm working with the velvet side, so I'm working with Kona. And you can kind of see that pretty rich brown. Aloha, that baby blue. Fiesta, bright cheerful pink. Cotton candy, a little lighter pink. And couple little odds and end buttons, some little wood pieces, nothing too much. Okay, let's get these back off to the side, and these are out of that Unity stamp set that I showed you earlier. Okay, so I'm going to move my goodies to the side. The Colorations mist that I'm using. In this month's color challenge, salted caramel is on the list. I didn't pull that one out. It's a brown, obviously. It just is a little bit warmer, has more of a golden tint to it, more of a beigey, a warm tan, I would say, maybe. And I just wanted more muted brown, so I went with Sandcastle and warm. So sticking with the color scheme, just altered it just a little bit. You know, it's just a color challenge. It's just a jumping off point. So I wanted to show you guys a little bit of a variation on it for this month's layout. Okay? Alrighty then. So moving on to what I did. This is what we'll be creating. Just a fun mixed media layout. Pretty simple. I didn't start with a sketch, I just started playing with colors a little bit on this one, so I don't have a sketch to reference, but I imagine that I've done this before as some other sketch challenge and some other layout and just applied it out of my head here. So whoever I got this from, I give you credit. Okay, you can just see some of the different layers that we'll be creating. Okay, I'm going to put this off to the side. So I remember to do what I did, and we'll get started. The base that I'm using is just a plain cardstock. This is a Basil cardstock, I'm sure, because that's what I always buy. It looks like it's, I think, French vanilla. So just a plain white cardstock. Has a slight texture to it, nothing much. Nothing huge. Okay. I started with my Stays On ink and my Unity stamps. I wanted to figure out where I was going to be placing things. So I didn't really, you don't see a lot of this actually through the layout, but this is where I started. So I'm going to go ahead and just do everything that I did. Okay. This was just an idea to get me where I was going to start building my layout, and I knew I wanted to work on this side. So I just started randomly adding some stamps in. No rhyme or reason, because I knew that I was going to build on this. But I wanted to start somewhere. So I needed something to get me going. Okay? Okay. And at this point, I was getting a little nervous. No, it's just the beginning. It always looks scary at the start, right? Okay. Next, a little bit of matte medium, just to adhere some dictionary pages. Now this dictionary page is whole. I figured I'd cut it up with you just to show you what I do. Not that you guys don't know how to cut up a dictionary page, but just so you know what my thought process is. When I'm trying to keep clean squares, I always cut off this really jagged edge that I've ripped out of the book. I always cut off this little loop because I really want the letters. I don't want just blank paper on paper. I'm looking for those letters. So I cut off most of the non-letters. Okay, so you can see I just kind of trim it out. And then I just randomly cut myself out some strips, some long, some short, some thick, some fat, some medium. Just however I have this little machine going. Again, no rhyme or reason, just however you're going to make it fit. Okay? Using a bit of water. I'm a little reversed today because my computer is on my desk. I love the dictionary pages too. They're a good filler for everything because you don't, they just kind of blend in with everything. Okay. A little bit of matte medium. Dictionary page. A little bit of matte medium. Dictionary page. A little bit of matte medium. Dictionary page. So by laying the dictionary pages on top of each other, you're not really seeing the words as much, and you're getting more of a layered look for the buildup of the background. I do try to keep them straight opposed to the one that I just put down. But we'll lift that up a little bit. Okay. And just continue building up my base. For my picture cluster and my accent cluster. Okay, by accent cluster I mean over here and down here just to balance the page out. Okay. Now with this process, the page might look a little different than the last one, but this is the process that I did, so hopefully we'll get close. Everything is a little different sometimes. It's okay. 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 And trying to work through this quickly. There's not really a lot of rhyme or reason. Probably could have done this off camera, but it's supposed to show you the whole process, right? So here we go. Hmm. Just continuing to cut pieces where I think another shape might be a little bit better. And working them into the page. Okay. I'll do one more and then well, maybe I'll be done. I'll maybe one here. Okay. Okay. There we go. So again, no rhyme reason. Covered up most of my stamping, but you know, some of it still shows through. It's all about layers, right? Layers of paper, layers of product, layers of color. It's all better with layers. Okay, so my gesso that I'm using is a Liquitex. Now, it is a clear gesso, kind of, because this bottle had a little bit of white gesso left in it when I added the clear to it from my big bottle. So it's, I would probably say, I don't know, a quarter of white gesso and 3/4 clear gesso. But it actually works pretty good for just muting and toning down a page. It's kind of like a whitewash without any water. Okay, so it's a handy little trick that I learned by accident and that I was very upset about when I learned it because I didn't want to have clear gesso, but I bought it by accident. And now I actually like it. It's pretty handy to have. So just something in your toolbox that you might want to grab. I'm just drying this a little bit before I add the next layer on. It doesn't have to be completely dry, but that way my paper doesn't move too much and things don't bunch up on me. Okay. So I like to keep it in this small little bottle. I buy the big economy one because I use so much of it, but for this, it's nice to have a small bottle that you can just have drips on your pages and work them in. Okay. I don't want to water this down too much, so let me dry my brush back off a little bit. Now this, I'm not covering the whole page. I just want to go ahead and just kind of tone down the actual words because I don't want them to show up. I just want them to kind of blend into the background. And plus the gesso will give me a little bit more of a base for the paints and the mist, the little bit of mist that I'm putting on. Okay. Just adds a little bit. And I just want to make sure that I work that white in there. That is there. Okay. Because this is a kind of a cream paper, so I don't want the white to stand out too much. But as it dries, it gets a little bit clearer because of the mix that I do have there. And you could just use clear, you could just use straight white, you could use, you know, whatever you want to use. I was just trying to stick with this one's color challenge, so it was a little bit warmer. Okay. Okay. Yeah, some folks don't like the toothy gritty feel. I like anything that bites back, I guess. I probably shouldn't say that. Okay. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and dry this up. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and start adding in my colors. And I think I forgot to put out one little tool, so I have to look around this desk and see where it got tucked in. I might have to improvise. Nope, I got it. Okay, and that'll do it. So, using my Sandcastle colorations, just that nice warm brown, light brown, just a little bit, and then I didn't want it to stay there. So to get the streaks that I liked in this page, I just used a small square sponge, makeup sponge, and just worked it through the page a little bit. Okay. And it's sitting on top of that gesso, gave me a little bit of time to work it in too. Okay, and that's just the first easy layer. I'm going to add a little bit more here, I think. I was afraid of that one for some reason. I'm not usually afraid when I spray. Not a good thing. Okay. Spray it like you mean it, right? I'll spray that one there and dip. There we go. Okay. First color complete. Remember, it's all about layers. Sticking with the brown, next one I moved on to was Kona. So I'm going to go ahead and dry. With this style, with more of a dry brushed look, I don't want colors to blend too much, so I'm trying to dry in between them. Because I don't really want the colors to get muddy or blended. I really want them to stand independently. And with a dry brush technique, you're not using very much paint. So I'm just dabbing a little bit on my table here. And the trick with the dry brush technique is, of course, to use a prickly brush, something that's not real soft, and that is, of course, dry and that you haven't added any water to. Okay? Those prickly, square tip, wiry kind of brushes, they got a little bite to them. Okay? Okay, and just start adding it in and brushing it on the page. And remember, after you get your base down, when you start adding in your pictures and your layer of your different fabrics, that's when it all starts to come together. This is when it looks scary. And you're like, oh, what am I doing? I've let my toddler take over my layout. But, everything starts and it builds up. Okay? Don't be afraid of the scary stage. And if you don't like it, the trick is just cover it up with another layer, right? That's what it's all about. Just play and play and play, and it'll all be okay. Okay? Okay, so up and down, side to side, nothing really round and round. Okay. Probably going to need a little more brown there. And if you guys wonder what I keep doing here, this is the size of the photo. So that's what I'm needing to build up. Okay? So when I do that, I'm saying, oh, okay, well, this is where my base is. I still need to build more around there. Okay? If you wonder why I keep plopping that down there. So again, just adding a little bit more Kona Velvet. And because I had given up on the brown and I had put it in my water, I grabbed another brush because I don't want, like I said, I don't want to mix. I don't want to blend my colors. I don't want to mix them. I don't want them to be muddied in any way. I want them to stand very independently of each other. Just be layered up. But my space needs to be a little wider, so. But again, back and forth, side to side, not up and down. Okay. Okay. Quick dry. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Fiesta Pink. This bright, hot pink that reminds me of 1980. Don't really know why. Okay. But it is a pretty bright one. Okay, and then again, just adding it right into the layout. Not as much as the brown, but just working it in. Here and there, splashes of color. And for those of you that don't know, I am working with this month's color challenge. And if you want to work with this month's color challenge too, you can link it on the blog. There's a linky or a link, or I don't know what the proper term is, but you can link right to the blog. It's in the corner on the left-hand side of the blog, I believe. With this month's challenge, and you'll see all the colors that I'm working with tonight. Okay. Okay, starting to build up that background. Quick dry, because I don't want my pink to turn purple when I add blue. Okay. Now I'm going to add Aloha. That pretty baby blue. And just work that one in. Remember, not a lot of paint on your brush. Keep your brush dry. Don't let your brush get wet. Once it's wet, get a new one. You don't want anything too thin. Or I'm sorry, too thick. You want everything to be really pretty thin when you're doing this. If it's too thick, wipe it off or start over. Okay? The trick with this is less is more. Okay? Alrighty, so there's my mix of colors, and that's it. Well, that's not it, but that's it for the colors. Sorry. Oh. Give this a quick dry and put the caps back on my paint, and then we'll go ahead and we'll add our layer of texture paste, which tonight I'm using the stucco. We have two different texture pastes. One is stucco and one is mud. I can't remember which one is grittier. I have to look at my notes, but I'm using the stucco tonight. There's nothing wrong with the 80s. I lived through it, and I have the hairspray probably, so I should have had stock. I have the 80s hair to prove it. Lots of it. Okay, hopefully this is going to open for me because I didn't wipe it off. I wasn't very kind to it last time I used it. Okay, and again I'm using our Morse code stencil. And it's just a bunch of dashes and dots. Okay. For this, I'm using just a palette knife, and I'm going to randomly put this on the layout. I'm not using the whole thing anywhere. I'm just using bits here and there. Okay. Just keeping with the brush strokes, the up and down that I did. And the side to side. Okay. Okay, just keeping everything side to side and up and down. Okay. Okay. Whoa, I forgot my bucket of water. Oh, that's not good. Okay, let me wipe this up just a little bit. I'm not the best to them, but let's try to be a little kind, right? Some people are very good about their stencils. I wish I was one of them. I am not. Yeah, okay. Good enough. Moving on. That's it for my mud, so let me wipe that off. Close it. Oh, I'm sorry, stucco. I use stucco tonight. I usually use mud, I think. Okay. I'm going to give this a quick dry, because then I'm going to start adding layers of fabric and flowers and paper, and I don't want my dimension for my texture paste to get smeared. Okay? And at this point, we're more than halfway done. Boop, boop. Doesn't take too long for this to dry, pretty quick. Just giving it a little bit of a push. Okay. Now I didn't want the cheesecloth that I'm using to be stark white on here, so I just took a little piece and I cut it. And not even, I used very little, just a little tiny bit. Okay. And I took a little bit of warm and a little bit of water. And that water has some Fiesta in it. And warm. And I just change the color of that cheesecloth just a little bit. Okay? Okay. So now it's just more of a mossy brown, just more of a natural color, not so stark white. Okay. Just work that in there. I don't want it to be too wet. I don't want to have to worry about it. Okay. Okay. So that's one of my little bit of fabric that we're going to add here. And get my burlap going. And this is just burlap from Joann's or my, I don't know, Hobby Lobby, wherever you get your fabric from. I bought a yard of it, I don't know, a couple years ago, and I'm still working through it, so, or half a yard maybe even. Doesn't have to be a lot. And I'm going to just start adhering this with some gel, some medium gel, gloss gel. I'm using Prima's 3D gel. You can use any kind of adhesive you want. Okay. Make sure I'm still in frame here. Now, the one thing I want to do here is I want to make sure that I'm kind of building around my picture, so I want to have an idea where they are. Some people can go back and forth and they just know. I need to keep looking. Sometimes I make small marks, and that's what I'm going to do right now. That will be covered up with something, but that way I have a little tiny pencil mark where I can see where I want my picture to be. Okay? Just so I have an idea. And sometimes you lose your pencil marks and you still can't see them, but at least you have something to start you on the path. Okay? And just trying to keep my burlap separated and torn, and just looking for that really stringy natural look there. And just putting a couple pieces here and there. I didn't take a chunk and just plop it down. I just kind of worked it around the layout. A couple pieces here, a couple pieces there. That's probably why I've had that same piece of burlap for years. Okay. Okay. Oh. And I just rip and pull and just bend it any which way I want it to go, because I don't want it to be uniform. Just tucking around the page. Building up my background for my layout a little bit more. For my picture. I don't speak English tonight, apparently. That's what happens. I had an ice cream social at the church with the girls to meet their new classmates, and woo, that's fun. Okay. And then let me get some on this side over here, and then I'll move on. Just keep ripping and pulling and making a huge mess of it. That's nice, right? Just make a mess of it. Ooh, I don't know what that is. Oh, and now it's stuck to me. What are you going to do? Okay. Now we're going to work that little bit of cheesecloth in. Just getting my vertical line built up with the fabric that I'm adding. Okay. And just building it up. Okay, maybe a little over here. I can always go back and add this once I get the flowers in, but I'm just trying to build up a base before I get my flowers going. Okay. Okay. I'm going to give that just a real quick dry to get that set before I add my flowers in. Now, because this is my duplicate one, and I'm not sure if I'm going to send this one off to Stacy for her to put a picture on it, I'm just putting down a cardstock with the measurements of the photo, so a picture can be put on top of it. So I'm just going to add some gel medium to the back and place my photo. Okay. Now I can start building up my twine circles. I could if I hadn't lost my container of twine. Oh, there it is. Imagine that. Lost something on my desk. I'm sure that's never happened to any of you. Okay. Just a bit of twine to work with. I don't even know what kind of twine this is. It's probably not even a real brand. It's probably from some yard sale somewhere, junk pile that I said, oh, hey, I would like that. Okay. A gob of gel and a bit of twine. And then a couple more loops. Loopity loop. And snip. And gob of gel and tuck. Okay. And a big loop. agave gel. And this, of course, is going to dry clear, so it doesn't matter that it's there. It doesn't matter that you can see that white right now, because once it's dry, it's going to be clear. This one is actually a gloss. I don't have my matte. I don't know what happened to my matte medium. So this is my gloss one, but so it'll have a little bit of shine, but you know, shine never hurt anybody. It'll be fine. It's all good. Okay, a couple more loops, and these are just building up where my flower clusters are going to go. Okay. You can twist it, and one thing about that is it, you know, it holds it down pretty quick, so you can make it any way you want, as much or as little as you want. Twist it, move it, play with it, knot it, make bows. I'm just trying to get a little bit of movement on the page. Probably going to need one more there, but we'll go with this for right now and see where that takes us. Okay. And let's see. So I'm going to start tucking in some flowers. This is one of the bigger pink flowers that I cut in half, because why waste a whole flower when you're tucking it underneath? Well, maybe I will. Wait, maybe I will. Maybe I didn't cut that one in the center right, so maybe I'll start over. Now we'll put this one over here. It'll be okay over here. There we go. Okay. I think that there's actually 2 flowers in this one, but I'm just going to let it go and dab it under. Okay. Flower. Add another flower. Now I want to make sure that I'm putting my flowers actually glued underneath where the picture is going to go, because I'm not on top of my picture in this case because I have the cardstock and the picture has to be added later. So I want to make sure that I leave room. Okay. And just keep tucking. Button here, button there. Flower. That's what's nice about the gel, is you can lift it and move it and work with it through the whole process. It's not going to be 100% down until it's dry, so you can still work with it. Okay. And just continue to play with your flowers until you're happy with the look. Adding bits and pieces here, a little bit there. A couple buttons. couple little wood hearts. I think these are Studio Calico wood ones. Just wherever you want them. Okay. And looks like I left a little bit of my title. That's just cut off my silhouette and the same little light brown cardstock there. And it's just beautiful. Just attaching that. Normally I would run a stitch through it, but just because I have that matte medium on my finger, I might as well, you know, put it to work. Last couple touches. I'm never done without, that's right, Michelle, a couple splatters. Okay. And if I don't like them particularly, I'll just dab it a little bit, and it's not as dark. Okay. Okay. Now it's time to go in with some random stamping, and for this I used quite a few of the different quotes from the Unity quotes, and didn't really care where they landed. Just kind of worked them in the background. Just anywhere where you think your layout needs something. And it doesn't matter if it's upside down or if it's off the page or if it's crooked. You're just building up and adding a little bit more. Okay, and I just changed them. One says trust your heart. One's be brave. Okay. I'm just working those verses into the page, around, double stamping, getting less ink. Okay. Oh no, I spilt my worm. I was all distracted. That's what happens. Giving myself a splatter. And that is why I keep towels on my desk. Okay. Okay. And with one minor mishap, we are done. There we go. Pretty little cluster. Lots of texture. Let's see. And then when we add a picture, we have here. Okay. Any questions for me tonight? it's just a little bit of spilt. It's okay. I still got a lot in there. It looked like more than it was, honestly. There was some water there, and it really got moving. It's okay. All good. Yeah, I should have put it on a journal page. You're 100% right. But I was more concerned about it not reaching the layout. Oh, we've all done it, right? I have a big yellow stain on my carpet from Glorious. It's a glorious stain. Okay, just make sure I don't have any medium on my stamps here because I want them to work. It is one stamp set that I'm pretty addicted to. Thanks, Stace. It's a pretty easy one. It's a nice little dry brush. A little something different for our color challenge this month. A little something. So I expect you guys all to be inspired to use these pretty colors together and link up with our color challenge this month. The die cut is actually not really a die cut. I just cut that off the silhouette. I don't know who it is, but if you type in beautiful on the silhouette, it'll just come right on out. Okay? Thank you, ladies. Don't forget that next month I'll probably have another layout using the next month's color challenge. Something, you know, we'll find something else to do. But it'll be the third Thursday of the month as well. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me tonight. It looks like we finished in just under our hour. And that's it, everybody's okay. Yes, the silhouette's a wonderful little gadget to have. If you remember to use it. You know, mine sits on the shelf a lot. Gotta just remember to use it. So the trick is to remember to use it. Dig out the stuff you have, right? Or buy more. My husband thinks I just buy more. I really do try to use what I have. Let's see. Oh, you guys know these flowers are old. I dug them out to use them tonight. See? Okay. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good night.